This month, I actually celebrate 20 years being in B2B sales. What made me get into sales was I always wanted to, curious to always meet new people around, understand what they do, how they do, understanding their challenges, and helping them find solutions. One more thing that keeps me interested is that every day, every conversation, and every customer is different. I think two important lessons. One, most importantly, wins may not be early. Definitely there's a science, there's an approach that needs to be done while you're selling. You have to be a lot patient, whether it's a small deal or a big deal that needs to be cracked in. You actually have to knock like n number of doors, create a pipeline, follow up. Things will turn up as you want or may not actually turn up, but you have to keep trying. I would say as a leader as well, you need to have a lot of patience, because when you are probably hiring people or when you're nurturing people or you're coaching people, you cannot really expect the same or similar results. I would say every salesperson, specifically in B2B sales, you need to have a doctor's attitude. You need to really understand what's the pain point and give a solution or design a solution accordingly for a customer. Similarly, when you're sitting in front of a customer, as I just mentioned, if the problem is clearly well defined, I think this is where we actually know as salespeople what has to be given as a solution. If we just listen halfway through, probably we may miss out on certain important attributes of our product or our service to be presented to the client, and it may not be a fruitful meeting that we are having with the team. When you're building a team, it's more important that your team feels trusted and supported. So you need to be really humble enough, and I would say every person is a different person. Let's say I start my team mentorship or leadership as a 5-member team, let's say for example today. Every team member is having different aspirations, having different motivation levels, different goals. Now this also further helps us to streamline when it is required, probably future going, wherein it is a good insight for us also that which kind of a team member is fit for what kind of a role going in future. When we are being a leader, we need to ensure that at least 80 to 100% of our team should be a performer team, so that eventually we are a winning team. So for that, what is most important at the most ground level is having right kind of coaching, teaching them, guiding them, hand-holding them, because they are pretty new to the entire world of sales, probably the level that they are at. I started my career somewhere in 2006. Google was actually coming up and there were a lot of internet, email was something a big thing. But having said that, how things are changing up today, all respect to the given technology being in place, AI being in place, etc. What is happening is, even before a customer actually drops in a lead to you or probably approaches you, I think customers are well informed of what exactly they are looking at. That's one part. Second part, as a salesperson, if I say yes, even technology, and there's a lot over the internet today for every kind of business that one can learn, one can understand before going to a meeting. But where I think the future of a salesperson today would belong would be the one who can bring in right business insights and not just presentation of product information. This is where I have seen clients where I have studied about them. I have gone up to their table, I talk about their business first, understand their problems, and try to align my product or my service to their particular need and requirement. So today, if you talk about any industry for that matter, you have n number of competition and competitors and allied products and services being there. But how do you stand out? And ultimately the customer actually looks at buying from you is the main intent. So the future actually belongs to salespeople, wherein they bring in good business insights. People really want to have a solution that really fits in. People are definitely ready to stretch a bit more on their budget and buy a solution which actually suffices their requirements. Technology has really helped, and it has saved a lot of time on research, planning, and preparation for a particular meeting. Earlier, we used to struggle a lot to get information about a particular client, what they are doing, what's the industry like, what are their needs and requirements, what are their glitches in their business, how we can solve that. But today, we can get a lot of information much faster, much easier, And this is actually enabling us to spend more quality time with the customers. Now, that's the biggest change in sales conversations have become more, I would say, more focused and more meaningful. And I think it's very important for any salesperson to go prepared, understand what the stakeholders, probably look at the backgrounds of people over LinkedIn, the key stakeholders, what they are, who they are, what's their experience like, probably if they have worked with a particular brand earlier, which we are already servicing, which is again a plus point. So it's not about pitching a product more. It's all about filling up the gap of convincing the person why the person needs a solution. The change that I have seen, I think the sales conversations are more focused and more meaningful because we have a lot of information. Even while if I'm traveling for a meeting, I can just Google and get things out. That's how technology has changed scenarios. Or people buy from people. That's the most important thing that we need to understand and imbibe in us, because at the end of the day, it's all about relationships, and relationships will not really happen. There are so many platforms which help us network, like for example, LinkedIn, which helps us network and open up new doors. But when it comes to relationship building, if it is you who's going out and buying a product or a service for yourself, the biggest important thing is the trust. If I am not able to connect or meet or have a dialogue with my sales agent or the sales team who's servicing my account, I will probably think of stepping out and for more options in life. Relationships actually build people is where I clearly believe in. Just to add to that, I think some of my best deals, the biggest of my wins have always been face to face. As a person who's starting in sales, be hungry. First thing, you cannot be complacent, because a few big wins and a few recognitions here can actually go off if we actually move out being complacent. So stay focused, stay curious, and never stop learning. I believe learning comes in two ways. One, if you have a set of industry clients that you're servicing, keep yourself abreast of what is happening in that industry. Second, don't shy away from asking even the stupidest question. No question, first thing, is a stupid question. Ask a question while being trained internally in your training. Also, you keep learning from your co-mates and other colleagues as well, how they were able to crack a particular account, what were the challenges, what kind of solutions were identified, what were proposed, and how did the negotiation take place, and how was the account onboarded. If I shy out and I do not really interact and ask them how they cracked a particular account, actually it's a big loss to me as a salesperson, because if I do not know use cases or a solution which my organization has successfully implemented to a particular organization, I think this is where I would lack big time. So for salespeople who are coming into sales, always be curious to figure out what are the kind of challenges a business face and how they're getting resolved. This is a profession that every day is a new fresh day that you to start with a fresh mind, with a go-getter attitude, being on table every single day. Talking about the leaders, when I have been into leadership roles, I was open to take help from anybody in the organization. You need to think that you are helping your team to grow up every day on day, and this is where we build up a team which is strong enough by its foundation. I think for any tower to come up, the foundation is most important. If the foundation is strong, they have to be nurtured and coached and guided well. We may have read n number of books on marketing, sales. We may have gone through a lot of content online. Yes, definitely those concepts are useful, but sales is more practical as an approach. That's what I think leadership is all about, building up your team. And as your team grows, the business grows, your customers grow, and eventually, yes, we as leaders also grow.